If you learn how to prompt well, you are in a better position to get quality results from AI. And I think now that AI is progressing, is developing, I think in the future, prompting will not become a very important skill because AI is getting more intelligent, and so it can understand whatever you write and it can answer you. So I would say prompt engineering is for now is unimportant, but it will soon be not that important because AI will be capable of understanding your intentions, your purpose, your writing. And also you mentioned prompt engineering. People, when they hear prompt engineering, they get scared. They say engineering, so I need some kind of very specific knowledge to understand. So a lot of teachers, they do have this that fear that they need some technology knowledge. They need to know how to operate coding and technical stuff to learn AI. That's not correct.
Hello, Med Kharbach. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm good. You said my last name correctly. That's good.
I practiced hard.
Not many people pronounce it correctly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I would like to introduce you first. Med Kharbach, PhD, is an educator, researcher, and edtech blogger. He taught in classroom for over 12 years. In 2010, he founded Educator's Technology, a platform known for practical guides on digital tools and AI in education. He now teaches part-time graduate course at Mount St. Vincent University in Halifax, Canada. He also leads professional development sessions worldwide on AI literacy, instructional design, and critical thinking. He is the author of ChatGPT for Teachers, Mastering the Skill of Crafting Effective Prompts. And he is currently working on new books about artificial intelligence role in research and teaching. Welcome to my show, Med Kharbach.
Thank you, Ahmed, for having me. Pleasure to be with you.
Can you please tell me something about you? Though I have introduced you, but I want to know from your side something about you and your journey.
So the other part I would like to share with people is I am from Morocco. My origins is from Morocco. So it's North Africa, but I have been living in Canada for the last 22 years. So that's just about my origins. And about my journey, I started as a teacher of English in Morocco before I immigrated to Canada, and then started working here teaching in K-12 schools. And then I did my master's and PhD. And eventually I transitioned to higher ed. And I have been always very much interested in the intersection of technology and teaching. And at initial stage of my research, I was mainly looking at the use of edtech in language teaching. And then I kind of broadened the scope, and I become more interested in the use of technology in teaching in general. And now with AI, I started researching AI, its strengths, limitations in terms of teaching. And that's just a general background of my research interests so far.
Talking about your book, the book that you have written, you mainly focused on prompt engineering for teachers. Why do you think that this is so much necessary, this prompt engineering kind of thing?
Yeah. So that book, I wrote it a year ago, and it was mainly on prompt engineering, as you said, and for teachers, because, prompting is the key to getting an effective outcome from ChatGPT or any other tool. And I focused on ChatGPT because that's the main popular platform that people use. And I see from my own interactions with teachers that, you can have two teachers, and the way they prompt the ChatGPT and that makes the whole difference. So if you learn how to prompt well, you are in a better position to get quality results from AI. And I think now that AI is progressing, is developing, I think in the future, prompting will not become a very important skill because AI is getting more intelligent, and so it can understand whatever you write and it can answer you. So I would say prompt engineering is for now is unimportant, but it will soon be not that important because AI will be capable of understanding your intentions, your purpose, your writing, And now you can even test it when you write something on ChatGPT. You make mistakes, you don't even bother with it, and it can pick up on
Yeah,
what you
yeah.
want. It can
Hmm.
answer you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's where we're going now.
Because right now, what we are doing, we are just prompting to ChatGPT like in simple language.
Mhm.
Hey, ChatGPT, can you please write this for us like this? But what do you think about this prompt engineering? That means we should include the context also, and it will be more like a contextual engineering, not like a prompt engineering.
That's right.
Am I right here?
Yeah, that's right. You are
Mhm,
right, completely right. Because prompt engineering is a skill, as I said in the book. It's
mhm,
not just an art; it's a skill, and we can learn how to write better prompts. And better prompts, they have a structure.
mhm,
It's not just a kind of few words here and there. They do have a structure, and they do have a format. First, you need to, for instance, you can assign a role. Let's say I have a piece of writing and they want AI to kind of provide feedback on my writing. So I can assign it a rule and they can say something like, imagine you are a journal editor and
mhm,
your job is to edit my draft. So that's rule assignment. So I put it in my prompt to constrain the context within which the AI can work. So when I give it specific instructions, I can direct it to what I really want from it. And then the more context you put in a prompt, the better. But also, when you put too much context, again, it confuses the AI model. So we have to strike a balance between putting what is really important as far as context is concerned without really putting too much context in it. And so, as you say, yes, context matters a lot. And the way we structure the prompt is very important too. And sometimes we also need to ask the AI model to, if we want the output in a certain format, we can ask it to say, I want your output to be in a slides or in a visual or bullet points or in a
mhm,
table.
mhm,
You can assign those things. So the more specific you are with what you want, the better outcome you get from the ChatGPT. And that's why I said the prompt engineering is now very important because it can save you time. So instead of writing 4 or 5 prompts, going back and forth with ChatGPT, you can write a very single, well structured, specific prompt, and you get the outcome. So that's what I mean by getting to write better prompts to communicate with AI.
mhm, mhm. As you rightly said that prompt engineering is very necessary, and it is, and right now it is necessary, but in the coming days it is not that much necessary, because this is the age of AI and everything, new things are coming and it's changing very rapidly. In this age, what do you think that what will happen to the critical thinking of the students? Because many teachers are worried about that the critical thinking will be hampered by the rise of these AI tools. What do you think, and how can we make a balance as a teacher?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. There is a lot of now concerns about AI hurting students' critical thinking abilities. And it's not only critical thinking, it also problem solving, analytical reasoning. So all these complex kind of higher order thinking skills, there are some concerns that AI can really do some damage to them. And I have just shared, I think yesterday, last night, I shared a couple of research papers on my LinkedIn there. They were talking exactly about this topic of AI and its negative impact on critical thinking. And I can see from my discussions with teachers and educators, there is a lot of talk, there is a lot of concern, tribulation that AI is going to erode the critical thinking skills. And these concerns are really valid and legitimate, I think, because when we think about it, when we think about AI as a thinking machine and not a learning machine, that's going to be very hard, even for us. You know what? Sometimes I was thinking, I did my PhD in 2013 and there was no AI at that time. And I was thinking, if there was AI by the time, that would be a really big problem for me because, it's tempting. If you are a PhD student doing a lot of reading and there is this tool just right by your computer, I mean, there is no way you can't use it to help you. And when you use it, there is always this problem of the machine taking over your thinking. So when, for instance, let's say with the reading, let's say you're working on a literature review paper, and then you take all the papers, you give it to ChatGPT or any other tool, and it does the reading for you, and it does the synthesizing of information for you. And what all you can do is just copy paste. That's really a big problem for students. And some students, they do it and they have seen it. I have seen students' assignments where they just copy the ChatGPT output and provide it to you as if it's their own outcome, which is not. And so that's a big problem here. It's not only about academic integrity and cheating. That's a big problem for sure. But the thing is, now students are developing certain lazy habits when it comes to reading, when it comes to analyzing information online. So when you take everything and you give it to a machine and it does the work for you, so those kind of skills, they get atrophied and they don't develop anymore. And let me give you an example here. In 2008, Nicholas Carr, this an author, he's a critic of the internet and technology. He wrote a paper. If you Google it, you'll find it. It's called "Is Google Making Us Stupid?" And it was published in the Atlantic newspaper online, and it's still there. And it's really a very interesting paper, and it's like it was talking about what will happen right now. It's in certain terms, it's prescient. It sees what's going to happen. And Nicholas Carr was talking about Google search and the social media platform like Facebook, Twitter. And at the time, they just emerged, these social media. And so what he was saying is, he was talking about his own personal experience reading things online. And he was saying that because of the new forms of text that we are dealing with on a daily basis, like tweets, like Facebook posts, these short text, short snippets of text, his brain gets used to reading only small snippets of text. And now he said he felt very concerned that he can no longer something happening in his mind when he's reading a longer text, and that was said because of social media at the time. And now we're talking about ChatGPT and everything, and for the first time in our humankind life, there is a machine that can take decisions instead of us, that can work for us, that can do a lot of things for us. And that's very big problem as far as intellectual endeavor is concerned. So you mentioned, what can we do about it? That's a big question here, because teachers are still grappling, struggling with what can we do to make sure that students benefit from the potential of AI, but not hurt their critical thinking skills. And I would say I had this discussion many times with teachers, and some of the things I really see coming up all the time in our discussions is, the kind of assignments that we provide to students. We have to think about these assignments and the assessments. We need to reconceptualize the assessment. We need to provide assessments and assignments that make it hard for students to use ChatGPT to cheat, or even, to outsource their thinking to ChatGPT. So that's number one. Then teachers need to think about the kind of assignments. We also want to make sure that when we provide an assignment to students, what do we want? Do we want to test their knowledge of a certain topic, or do we want them to develop certain thinking habits? Because if you're going to test a student's knowledge about the topic, then they can use ChatGPT to help them solve that problem or the assignment. But if you focus on the process, then it becomes harder. It's not impossible, but harder for them to use ChatGPT. And so, for instance, I can give them an assignment. Let's say I assign my students to write about a topic on, let's say, globalization or AI or anything. And I know that they would go to AI and use it. But we can have a discussion with students, say yes, you can use AI to brainstorm ideas, to help you with proofreading, with editing your stuff, but when they come to class, when they bring those assignments, then we can have a discussion about each assignment. And so why did you say this? What's the counter argument? You test their argumentation, see how they developed their own ideas. So, and if they use AI simply to copy paste, then they would not be able to discuss their ideas, I mean, in a profound way when they are in class. And so there is always this importance of engaging students one on one in the classroom, talking about them, discussing, and not just written assignments, but anything. So when students know that they will need to defend whatever they provide for you in their answers in class, then they would use some of their mind, some of their thinking, at least to help them. But as I said, it's very hard because ChatGPT is in everybody's students in their in their phone, in their wherever they go. So it's very hard to really control it, right?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. And actually, all you rightly said that all teachers are actually brainstorming to find a way how to teach students in this era of artificial intelligence, because
Yeah,
teachers are also using ChatGPT to create assignments and for teaching.
that's right.
How can a teacher say to students that you should not use ChatGPT for assignment? So
Yeah,
that's a discussion. And you rightly said that students should be involved in the classroom, and
yeah,
there should be a human in the loop in this era of chat gpt and in the
exactly.
era of AI. Mm,
That's right.
okay, okay. And next question is that from your experience in professional development sessions worldwide, what are the biggest
Uh-huh.
misconceptions educators have about AI in teaching and learning? There's some misconception also.
Yeah, there are many misconceptions.
Mm,
Number one is this learning curve. The
mm,
teachers think that to learn AI, they need some technical skills like coding and
mm,
that's wrong. That's not necessary. I mean, if you know how to code in that language, programming languages, yeah, that's a plus. That's an asset,
mm,
but that's not a necessary. So no technical skills. That's one of the conceptions I hear people talk about. And also, you mentioned prompt engineering. People, when they hear prompt engineer, they get scared. They say engineering, engineer.
mhm,
So I need some kind of very specific knowledge to
mhm,
understand. So a lot of teachers, they do have this that fear that they need some technology knowledge. They need to know how to operate coding and technical stuff to learn AI. That's not correct. That's number one. Number two, they think just because AI can do now is super powerful that it can do everything. That's one of the things that I hear people talk about a lot, and they forget that AI does a lot of mistakes, does hallucinate. It provides inaccuracies, and I always tell people, please don't use AI, especially ChatGPT, Gemini, and Coop. Don't use it as Google. If you want to Google something, go to Google. If you want to look for some facts, for stats, for this, go to Google. Don't use it as a search engine. Use it to help with brainstorming, with argumentation, with structure your thoughts and stuff like that. But for searching about information, go to search engines like Google and search there. That's one of the second misconceptions about AI. And people also think that AI is going to take their jobs. That's very known among the, people think, oh, in a few years, then AI will be able to, replace us. But I don't think so, because if we look at the history of technology, it has all whenever new technology shows up, people have concerns that it will do this and that, but still people are still present. They still have their jobs. Yes, there will be some disruptions to certain sectors for sure, but in teaching and in jobs when human relations are very important, those kind of sectors, for now, they are very immune from the encroachment of AI into their sector. So yeah, so that's in general just some kind of misconceptions about AI.
mhm,
That's I see among teachers, educators in general. Yeah.
mhm. Okay, for a teacher who has no any technical background,
Mhm.
how can anyone adopt this AI literacy in
Mhm.
practical ways? What advice do you give to them
Yeah.
who
So
don't have any technical background?
Yeah, right.
Mhm,
Yes,
mhm,
that's right. So yeah, as I said, people are very afraid that if they don't have a technical background, that they would not be able to catch up with whatever going on AI, and that's not true. And so when we talk about AI literacy, we talk about number one, developing the knowledge about AI. Like, go ahead, go. There are several sources online. And I have been sharing a lot of sources about how to where to read about AI, read a little bit about the history of AI. What is AI? How did it appear? What's the difference between AI tools and non-AI driven tools? What is machine learning? What is prompt engineering? Just basic information. You don't need no math, no statistical skills, no technical. Just know these things. What is data? How do ChatGPT models train? What is training? What is pre-trained? What is GPT? What does it stand for? These things are very easy, and you can understand them just theoretically, and they are very important too. So because when what I was saying to teachers is, when you understand how AI works from a theoretical point of view, not a technical point of view, when we know that, for instance, let's say ChatGPT uses for its training, it uses a huge amount of data from online sources like Wikipedia, like newspapers, social media, Reddit, Quora, and those training data, they contain a lot of misrepresentations, biases, they contain discriminatory practices, all these social evils that we humans have. Those training data, they contain it. And so when the models use this data for training, part of this problems, they kind of, it goes through the model, and it shows up in what we get in the outcome when we ask ChatGPT or any other tool for like biases, like hallucinations, like inaccuracies, like stereotypical kind of representation of people. So you can see some instances show up when we interact with ChatGPT. So if you know that these large language models are trained in this way because of the data they are trained on, we
mhm,
have this kind of problem. We are able to understand why, for instance, when I ask ChatGPT, I say, generate an image of a CEO of a company. The image you will get mostly is a white man in
mhm,
his in his late age, in the 40s or 50s, wearing a suit and a tie. So we ask why it's a white man, why it's not a woman. That's gender. So
mhm.
why it's a man and not a woman? That's gender. Why he is white? Why not a black man? That's race. So you start asking yourself, why did it give me this picture? It's because it's stereotypical picture of a CEO in the Western world where we live now. That's
Mhm.
how we think about CEO, and that's what people talk about online. And because ChatGPT used that data from what people say, from Reddit, from Quora, from it has this stereotypical thinking into its model. And so when a student comes up to me and say, "Hey, teacher, I asked ChatGPT to give me to generate an image of a CEO, and it gives me this one." And he is a black student, and he said, "I was thinking he would generate a CEO, a black woman with head, with dreadlocks or
Mhm.
whatever, but it gave me this one. Why?" So if you don't know how ChatGPT works or AI, you will not be able to explain to students what happens. You see what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
trying
So, yeah, I
mention here.
understood your point. From your perspective, I think there is a like pressing need for local LLM models. Like this Chat GPT and other models are trained on the data which is trained for a certain
Yeah,
country. Therefore, if
that's
we can
right.
replace it with some local LLMs, for every country there should be an LLM, and then that would give a better results.
I think, yeah, I think I'm
Mhm,
from Morocco, and I am an Arab,
mhm,
and I'm very much deeply involved in AI research here in Canada. And when I think about the Arabs, and they are completely out of this world when it comes to AI. They are lagging behind. They have no ideas. Some of them, some people like intellectuals like yourself, like myself, like people, but most of the just normal people, they don't care about AI. They don't know even what's going on. And now, if we have models that is trained on Arabic data, let's say novels, let's say books from. I'm just giving the example of Arabic. We can use any other example, like any other language or any other epistemic worldview. Let's say I'm just talking about. We can say the same thing about indigenous people, indigenous cultures in other places in Asia, in Philippines, in Pakistan, in India. How about we use those cultures to train models? If we train them with that, we could probably have less biased perspectives from these AI models. But the problem is the companies that are using these AI models or that are developing them, they are companies here in the States or in America or in Europe. Most of the time, it's just the States, and those people are using English data, and English is a lingua franca, and because of these companies, they are making profit, and because English is the tool that makes them profit, how it wouldn't, serve them well if they have Arabic or any other language. So it's mostly a huge part of AI technology is profit driven, and so we have to keep this in mind too. So if it makes money, then yes, it's gonna work. If it doesn't make money, there would not be a lot of research into it, and so on and so forth. But the idea you mentioned is very important because people have been really talking about how AI and language models, they do kind of misrepresent some of the world point of view, some other cultures, some other, as I said, epistemic perspectives, like indigenous knowledge is not, some indigenous scholars now, they are claiming the same thing. They are saying that the indigenous point of view is silent or is absent from these LLMs. So there is this discussion of whose worldview is being represented and whose is being silent. And unfortunately, the one that is represented is the dominant narrative that we have. And that's just what it is.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for this structured reply. And my last question to you is that looking ahead, how do you see artificial intelligence shaping research and higher education in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, well, thank you very much for this question because it's really an important question. Let me say, in the medical sector, I'm very much optimistic. When we talk about the medical sector, I have my mom died last year from a stroke, from a brain stroke, and I'm always thinking about now with AI. There was a lot of breakthroughs and I just read yesterday. I read a very interesting article online about the probable breakthroughs in medicine of how AI can help cure a lot of cancers, and find solutions to a lot of diseases, So in the medical sector, I am really very optimistic that AI is going to create a very big revolution and find solutions to many, many problems that are causing a lot of deaths to people. That's in the medical sector. In the education sector, I'm also optimistic because now AI, but I'm optimistic, but very much prudent, meaning very careful, because we also need to know how to use AI. If we know how to use it efficiently, then we can improve our research and improve the human knowledge. If we use it just as a thinking machine, as a copy paste machine, then that would really hurt. And I'm thinking that the more we interact with AI, the better we become at understanding how to use it in our life and with our students. And mind you, because AI is very new. It has been around just for 3 years now, since November 2022, and we are still not in a place where we can say what's the real impact of AI on students' learning, on research. It usually takes years before we can see the real impact of a technology on people or on students. It's the same everywhere. So it will take us some time before we can really assess the importance, the damage, the strength of AI in research. But I'm very much optimistic about it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Med Kharbach, for sharing such valuable insights on the evolving role of artificial intelligence in education and research. Your journey as an educator, researcher, and edtech thought leader offers great inspiration for teachers and learners worldwide. To our audience, We hope this conversation helps you better understand how artificial intelligence can empower, not replace, critical thinking and creativity in classrooms. Stay tuned for more engaging discussions on the AI Research Road podcast, where we continue exploring how technology is shaping the future of learning and innovation. Thank you. Thank you for coming to the show.